Everyone, Irene here. Welcome to our webinar on understanding your likelihood and building a balanced list of schools. Today, we're going to be talking about something super important, how to create a college list that actually works for you. I know it could be easy to get caught up in rankings, prestige, even which schools your friends are applying to, but a balanced college list is really important in order to have some great options come spring. For the agenda, we're going to be going over the importance of a balanced college list, common mistakes in building a college list, traditional factors in admissions, hidden factors in admissions, how to create a balanced college list, researching and selecting schools, case study examples, and questions to consider. So why is the balanced college list important? So first, it sets up realistic expectations. A lot of students overestimate their chances at highly selective schools. Schools with less than a 10% acceptance rate can be really unpredictable even for top students. For example, if a student with a 4.0 GPA and a 1550 SAT, they still might not get into Harvard because the competition could include Olympiad winners, published researchers, even legacy applicants. Instead of only aiming for dream schools, think about where you'd be happy and successful. Second, it maximizes chances of acceptances. So a balanced college list increases the likelihood of multiple offers, which will allow you to compare options. It expands options, so each school has unique strengths that might not be obvious at first glance. Schools like University of Wisconsin-Madison and Purdue, they often get overlooked because they aren't Ivy League schools, but they do have top-tier research opportunities in STEM. Last, it reduces stress. The uncertainty of admissions can be really overwhelming, so having solid and realistic options will give you more confidence. A lot of students who apply only to reaches end up regretting not applying to more likely and target schools. Common mistakes in building a college list. So first, applying to only highly competitive schools. Many students apply to only Ivy League and top tier schools. Even perfect grades and test scores don't guarantee admission. This could result in a lack of options come spring. So these schools reject thousands of perfect applicants, those with a perfect GPA, perfect test scores. So even top students need backup options. A better approach would be to apply to a mix of schools where you are likely to be admitted and again still succeed. Second, focusing too much on rankings, not on fit. Prestige and rankings can be misleading. Some rankings take into account factors that have no correlation to education quality or student experience. An example would be alumni donations. Factors such as available majors, campus culture, and financial aid should be prioritized. So instead of fixating on rankings, look at class sizes. Do you want smaller seminar style classes or big lecture halls? Career outcomes, how strong is job placement in your field? Campus culture, would you enjoy the social environment? Next, overlooking financial considerations. So some students apply to colleges without considering the total cost of attendance, leading to acceptances at schools they ultimately cannot afford. A net price calculator helps prevent this by estimating the actual cost after financial aid. The sticker price isn't the final cost for college. Financial aid varies by school. For example, a private college with a $75,000 sticker price may offer more aid than a public university with a $40,000 out-of-state tuition. So always use a net price calculator before applying. These are online and on the college's websites. Many students focus only on GPA and test scores when building their college list. However, admissions decisions involve much more. We're going to start by going into the traditional factors in admissions. So first, grades. Grades serve as a measure of a student's academic ability, work ethic, and preparedness for college level coursework. Your GPA is one of the biggest factors, but course rigor is also really important. So for example, a 3.8 GPA student with AP and IB courses could be more impressive than a 4.0 student who only took easy classes throughout high school. Test scores, standardized test scores like the SAT and ACT give colleges a way to assess academic skills on a common scale, but how much they matter depends on the school. Even test optional schools still consider strong SAT or ACT scores if submitted. A student with a 1500 SAT and a strong GPA could, stand out for a school that's test optional. Extracurricular activities, participating in clubs, sports, volunteer work shows passion, commitment, and leadership. Always remember that it's depth over breadth, quality over quantity. Colleges prefer meaningful involvement in a few activities over a long resume of activities that you were barely involved in. So, let's say a student led a nonprofit for 3 years, that could be more impactful than being a member of 10 clubs where you didn't really devote too much time to each one. Personal essays give students a chance to share their unique experiences. So, yeah, this is your chance to showcase your personality, resilience, your passions. So, if a student wrote an essay about building a chicken coop in their backyard, and they highlight their problem solving skills, that could actually stand out more than a generic essay about leadership. All right, so there's also a lot of hidden factors in admission. So while grades, test scores, extracurricular activities, and essays are key factors in the admissions process, colleges take a much broader approach when evaluating applicants. We're going to start with institutional priorities and needs. So first, yield protection. Sometimes colleges prioritize applicants who are more likely to enroll to help their rankings. This results in some schools not accepting overqualified students who they think won't enroll. So an example would be like a student who gets waitlisted at UC Davis but gets accepted into Stanford. Yield protection could have been a factor. Geographic representation. Colleges aim to build a diverse student body, so they look to admit students from all over the country and world. On the other hand, some public colleges aim to admit more in-state students. So being from an underrepresented state like Wyoming, North Dakota could actually be an advantage. Schools want students from different backgrounds to create a diverse student body. Um, Hidden institutional needs. Colleges can prioritize students for specific majors, genders, STEM example, athletics, or diversity goals. Colleges want a well-rounded class, so, STEM students, humanities students, musicians, athletes. Some schools even favor applicants interested in under-enrolled majors, like, let's say, Celtic studies, for example. Some additional institutional priorities and needs. So need-aware colleges. Need-aware colleges consider a student's financial need when making admissions decisions, which can impact lower income applicants. So unlike need-blind schools, need-aware colleges factor this when making decisions. So high-need applicants could be waitlisted or rejected if funds are limited. Legacy, some private colleges give preference to applicants with family alumni ties. This is strongest at Ivy League schools and like top tiered colleges or universities, but it is starting to shift as some colleges phase it out. State mandated enrollment caps. Public universities often have quotas for in state versus out of state students due to funding policies. Some universities reserve a majority of spots for in state residents, making admissions more competitive for non residents. So, example, schools like UCLA and UT Austin have strict quotas favoring residents. Your high school's reputation. Colleges compare your achievements to others at your high school since you're all afforded the same exact opportunities. Some high schools are more challenging than others. Colleges will consider this when evaluating GPA. Context does matter. A 4.0 GPA at a competitive prep school could be viewed differently than a 4.0 at a school with limited AP courses. So again, colleges evaluate you relative to your school's offerings. Unique talents and skills. Colleges value students who bring unique talents that enrich their campus community. Being a recruited athlete, award-winning musician, or nationally recognized scientist can be a major admissions boost. Earning recognition through achievements, awards, or competitions can strengthen an application. Students can highlight their talents in an application through portfolios, performances, or detailed descriptions, all of which can significantly impact admissions decisions. So yeah, Division One schools could offer significant admissions boost to recruited athletes. A soccer player with like a 3.4 GPA could get into an Ivy League school because they were recruited. If you do have any unique talents or skills, like let's say in coding or entrepreneurship or the arts, make sure that you create a portfolio. You can include links on your applications or through platforms like SlideRoom. First generation and contextual admissions. So, first generation college students. Colleges often prioritize first generation students to promote diversity. These students have navigated the college application process without the guidance of their parents who attended college, giving more weight to their achievements. So, a student with a strong academic record despite limited resources could be viewed more favorably than a similar applicant with more advantages. Contextual admissions practices, colleges take a holistic approach by considering a student's background and any special circumstances when reviewing applications. They evaluate achievements in the context of the opportunities available to the student. Factors such as socioeconomic barriers, school resources, and personal challenges are considered to ensure applicants are assessed fairly. Colleges do value resiliency and growth. And so, a student from an underfunded high school with a 3.8 GPA and strong extracurriculars could be more impressive than a student from a top private school with a 4.0 GPA. Uh, Again, schools aren't just looking at grades, they want students who show perseverance, adaptability, students that are driven. Applicants who demonstrate how they've overcome obstacles are often seen as strong candidates. Institutional fit and campus culture. So, colleges want students who will thrive on their campus and contribute to the community. They look for applicants whose values and goals align with their school's mission. When students are a good fit, they're more likely to succeed. So, admissions officers, they consider whether a student is likely to excel in the classroom, participate in extracurriculars, and make meaningful contributions to the student body. Different schools prioritize different student qualities based on their mission and values. Research focused schools like, let's say, MIT and Johns Hopkins, they could look for students that are innovative, while liberal arts colleges like Williams and Amherst might value students who showcase interdisciplinary thinking. Business schools like Wharton, they could prioritize students that showcase leadership and entrepreneurship. Another hidden factor, capacity and feeder school partnerships. So, institutional capacity for majors. Colleges have limited number of spots in certain programs, making some majors more competitive than others. This is also known as major impaction. Limited capacity can lead to more competitive admissions for popular majors. For example, nursing and engineering programs tend to have strict enrollment caps, so students applying to these majors may have tougher admission standards. Schools like UCSD admit students directly into impacted majors like computer science. But if a student applies undeclared, it could be difficult or even impossible to transfer later. It really just depends. Partnerships with feeder schools. Colleges often build relationships with high schools known as feeder schools to encourage applications. Feeder schools consistently send colleges competitive students. They're essentially a reliable pipeline of well qualified students. Examples would be Harvard Westlake and USC. Harvard Westlake, they consistently send students to USC. So if your school does have a history of sending students to a specific college, it could slightly increase your chances because admissions officers are familiar with your school's curriculum and grading standards. Post-application demonstration. So after submitting an application, students may have additional opportunities to showcase their skills, interests, and fit for a college. These can include interviews, audition or portfolio reviews, and supplemental materials like updated awards or honors, new projects, additional recs if requested by the college. Strong performance in the above can help boost chances for admissions applications, especially for programs with competitive admissions processes. These demonstrations can have a significant impact on your decision. And so, interviews do matter. Some schools use alumni interviews as a way to gauge interest. So, if a student shows that they've done their research about a school's program, that can impress an interviewer. Portfolios and auditions can also strengthen an application. Let's say you're a film applicant and you submit a short film that showcases your creative storytelling. That's going to be something that could definitely help. These are all of the hidden factors, but just a disclaimer, there are many other hidden factors and needs can change year to year. We're just highlighting some in this presentation, not all. That could take a while. All right, so with so many hidden factors in admissions decisions, how can students realistically assess their chances at different colleges? So, creating a balanced college list with likely target reach and far reach schools will be crucial in maximizing opportunities. How to create a balanced college list. So you do want to have likely target reach and far reach schools. So identify likely schools around 2 to 4. Likely means your GPA and SAT and ACT are significantly above average for that college's accepted student profile. It's almost certain you'll be accepted. So kind of like a backup school. So, example of a likely, if you have a 4.0 GPA and a 1450 SAT, and you're applying to a school where the average admitted student has a 3.5 GPA and a 1200 SAT, that would be considered a likely school. Target schools, you should have 4 to 6. Target means you're in the average range for GPA and SAT and ACT, so you are qualified, but admission isn't certain. An example of a target school would be if a school's middle 50% SAT range is 1350 to 1500, and let's say you have a 1400, that would be a target school. Same with your GPA, on target with the average of the schools. Reach schools are schools that are more difficult to get into, and you should have 1 to 5 reaches, including the far reaches, which we'll go over next. Reach means your GPA and SAT or ACT are below the averages. These schools tend to be competitive or prestigious. Um, an example of a reach would be if you have a 3.9 GPA and a 1350 SAT, but a school's average admitted student has a 4.2 GPA and a 1550 SAT. That would be a reach. Far reach schools are the most difficult schools to get into, and these schools can be considered a reach for all. So this could be the Ivies, Stanford, MIT. So the goal of a balanced college list is to give yourself options. You want to be in a good position come spring, and like I said, have lots of different opportunities. Researching and selecting schools. So there are different things that you should consider: academic fit, so majors, research opportunities, faculty quality. Look at the depth of the program. Some schools are strong in certain areas, but weak in others. So you should consider with course offerings, are they diverse and specialized? Research opportunities, are there labs, faculty projects, or even grants available? Industry connections, do professors have connections with companies or organizations? Personal and social fit, campus culture, diversity, student life, extracurriculars, location. So, with culture, is the school collaborative or is it cutthroat? Is there strong school spirit or Greek life? Career outcomes, internship opportunities, job placement rates, alumni networks. So, with internship placement, do they have strong partnerships with companies in your field? Alumni network, schools with active alumni can help with job placements. With job placement rates, what percentage of grads get jobs or go to grad school within 6 months? Study abroad and co-op. Some schools like Northeastern have built-in co-op programs where students graduate with real-world experience. Financial fit, again, make sure that you use the net price calculator. Every college has one. Use it to estimate actual costs. Consider merit scholarships. Some schools automatically consider students for merit aid, while others require separate applications. Also consider in-state versus out-of-state tuition. Public universities often have huge cost differences for non-residents. And also consider hidden costs. So that could be housing, travel, textbooks, any fees. And the best way to research a school is to actually visit it if possible, or to use virtual tools. So walk around, sit in on a class, eat in the dining hall, talk to students, go on an official tour if possible with a tour guide who is typically a current student at the school. But there's also virtual tours in social media. So many schools offer virtual campus tours on their websites, but a lot of students often post on like TikTok, YouTube, and Reddit about what their experiences are like. All right, so we're going to go into some case study examples. So student one, GPA 4.0 unweighted, 4.6 weighted. SAT 1540. Extracurriculars, robotics team captain, summer research internship, debate club, and 200 plus volunteer hours. Colleges, Harvard not accepted, Stanford not accepted, Columbia not accepted, UC Berkeley waitlisted, Duke not accepted, University of Michigan waitlisted. Final decision, take a gap year and we'll reapply. Takeaway, even top students need a balanced college list since, again, admissions is so unpredictable. So this student is a great example of how even the most qualified applicants need to be realistic. With acceptance rates at top schools below, 10%, it's risky to apply only to, top schools without any sort of safety net. Student 2, GPA 3.85 unweighted, 4.3 weighted. ACT 32, extracurriculars, founded an environmental nonprofit, school newspaper editor, competitive swimming, research project on sustainable energy. Colleges that they were accepted to, we have Oregon, Boulder, UC Santa Cruz, George Washington, and Rochester. They weren't accepted to University of Washington. They were also accepted to University of Wisconsin-Madison, Northeastern, but they weren't accepted to UC Berkeley and Princeton. The final decision committed to Northeastern. Takeaway, having a balanced college list offers more options. So unlike the first student, this student gave themselves multiple strong options. Even though they didn't get into their most competitive schools, they still had really good options and could choose a school that fit them both academically, socially, and financially. So these two case studies show why having a balanced college list is so important because, again, even top students can get rejections. Having a balanced college list is going to ensure that you have solid options at the end of the day. Before finalizing your college list, it's important to take a step back and ask yourself these questions. So, is my college list balanced? Do you have likely, target, and reach schools? If you only got into your likely and target schools, would you still be happy? Have you researched acceptance rates and average GPA test scores for each school? 2, would I be happy at all the schools on my list? So, if your dream school doesn't work out, do you have backup options that you'd still be excited about? Are you applying to any schools just because of prestige or maybe even pressure from others? Have you researched each school to make sure it's a good fit? 3, can I afford these colleges? So, have you checked the net price calculator to estimate your real cost? Are you applying to schools with strong financial aid or scholarship opportunities? And do you have a mix of in-state and out-of-state options to really compare costs? Last, am I considering factors beyond rankings? So, have you looked at internship opportunities, job placement rates, alumni networks? Do you know what support services are available, whether it's a career center, mental health resources, tutoring? And have you considered how far from home you want to be? So, these questions will help you make sure you're making an informed decision when it comes to the colleges that you're going to be applying to. All right. So the best college for you isn't just the most competitive one, it's the one where you'll thrive academically, socially, and financially. So choose a school where you'll grow, thrive, and be happy because that's what really matters at the end of the day. This is the last slide of the presentation. Hopefully, you all enjoyed it. As always, if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to your CPSI counselor. But thank you for listening.